Hi class, this is the best practices video for the Start Here module. I'd like to start off and apologize for the programming error we started at the beginning of the week and the correction. Has been corrected. It'll work correctly now throughout the remaining modules. I want to thank the handful of you that posted early and then reposted to your groups. Your groups are all set now, and that's the group of people that you'll be working with through the remainder of the course. I really enjoyed meeting you, reading your introductions, and reading about your dream jobs. This was fun reading for me. Um, I'm also just thoroughly impressed with the posts on the Start Here module. There was just so many really good posts. Thank you for following instructions and paying attention to best practices. Um, I could have easily selected 40, 50 um, posts for best examples, best practices for the Start Here module. I do have a couple. Start off with here. I think this one is Paulina from Group 3. Nice job, Paulina. Notice how she has her headers and they're in bold. She skipped a line, has her content and it's substantive and just it works all the way down through this. She just did a great job. So nice job, Paulina. This one here, this is, let me see, this is Noah from Group 4. Um, Same thing. Notice he numbered his headers, has them in heading. Skipped a line when he has a lot of content. He has a space in there for easy reading. Just did a great job putting this together. It has substantive content. So nice job, Noah. Um, Once again, I just want to say there was just lots and lots of really good posts, so I'm really pleased with that. My reactions to the course question, um, you had a lot of questions, so I want to run through. I think I've got the majority of them here. I want to run through them. The first one's someone asked, how many years has Management 3600 been offered at Bowling Green? And of course, I did not know. I'm too new. I've only been here a year, but I did find out, and I found out it's a core course or a foundational course. It's been here since the very beginning. Yeah, they consider it a foundational part of this degree. It's been here ever since the degree has existed. How will the exams test the knowledge learned from the course? And that's a good question on the Start Here manual or module because you hadn't seen the course text yet, but now you're in the fundamentals module. You can see the text, and so the questions in the exams will be based on the text, and you'll get a chapter with each module as we work our way through the course. What is the percentage of assignments? That's found on first page in the syllabus, and what you'll see is that these discussions are worth 40%. Your quizzes, your graded quizzes are worth 30%, and the midterm and final together are worth 30%. So you can see these discussions are important. How does an online course compare to a live course, and how does performance online compare to live classes? Well, that's a good question, and I think there's a lot of variation here because there's variation in online courses, there's variation in live courses. For example, when I do a live classroom, I do what they call a flipped classroom, where I can post the lectures online and do more activities in the class and applied learning. Um, this online course also is highly focused on applied learning, so I think it's very similar in that way. Of course, one of the things that's different is that you have more control of your schedule and you do not see other students face to face. I think performance is very comparable as well. That if you put a lot into online classes, you also tend to um, uh, put a lot of effort into online and face to face as well. So I think performance is very comparable. How realistic is the case simulation? Well, we hope it's that you think it's very realistic. Maybe we'll ask that question again towards the end of the class. It's based on dialogue. It's based on a composite of real cases. So we're hoping that you will agree that it's realistic. What should I do if I'm falling behind? Number one, you need good time management. Do not fall behind. Uh, if you miss a due date somehow, then get a hold of me right away. Don't let a lot of time pass. In the past, I've had students at the very end of the semester say, I missed the quiz in week 3. Can I make that up? And in week 15, 16, the answer is usually it's no. You know, there's too much time has passed. There's really no credit that you can get. So if you do get behind, get a hold of me right away and we'll try to work something out. How much interpretation is allowed in answering a question? Um, we're in organization behavior. Not all answers are absolutely right or absolutely wrong. That there are different degrees of interpretation. So interpretation is part of it. Um, if it seems you're just completely off track in a post, then I'll try to correct that in my grading response. And unless you're just way off base, um, I usually don't deduct for that. In other words, I view this as a learning experience. So there is some interpretation involved. How close does this course relate to management? Does the content focus on behavior side? Can you expand on the competitive advantage and what type? Yes, it's all management behavior and behavior within the organization. Um, if you can master the content in this course, you can be an outstanding leader or an outstanding employee. Um, this uh, content that we're dealing with is what presents a competitive advantage to organizations. If, for example, recently I noticed a couple of large organizations shut down their telecommuting programs, and I think they did that because they were not capable of managing them effectively. And had they had a course like this, they would be able to do that. So, and that puts them at a competitive disadvantage. How will this class really live up to the promise that it prepares you to take you to your next step? Well, one way in particular that at least we're hearing from previous students is that the behavioral interview questions really got them ready for the interviews. So they feel like they really did a great job in interviewing for their dream job. And not only that, some of the questions we were told were identical to what we had in the class. So I think that's one way in particular. And then the other way is it builds an applied skill. And what useful entrepreneurial skills will I gain from the class? Same thing. I think as an entrepreneur, and I'm an entrepreneur owning a consulting firm, these are the skills you need in order to manage it. How will this course material prepare you for real world situations? Same concept. It is applied. So, and the focus on our feedback will be applied as well. One question I have is when we expect to get our grades back. Well, you should get your quiz grades immediately and your midterm finals immediately. I extended the due date on the Start Here modules. I didn't want to have a due date on the Martin Luther King holiday. And so I waited till that closed, which was 11:59 yesterday, and then got them graded today, and your feedback's there now. And hopefully I'll be that timely as we move along. At least that's my goal. Um, will we ever meet in person with members of our group? And the answer is no. You are 100% online. Are there materials to study in preparation for quizzes? Yes, and it's the text content that goes with the module. None of your quizzes will quiz you outside of that module until you hit the midterm and the final. How will the course be graded, same, the composite of the discussion, grades, quizzes, the midterm and exam, and in accordance with Bowling Green. You can check the syllabus for more detail on that. Where are the release and due dates of modules listed? They're at the bottom of the syllabus. They're also in the calendar. And when you click on a module, you'll see the dates too. How can this class content be applied to all areas of business? It really can be applied to literally every industry group, every business from small to large, entrepreneurial. We're into fundamental behaviors for organizations. What made the professor want to teach his class online? I wanted to teach his class online. Number one, I have a long history of teaching online, so I'm very comfortable teaching online. And also, I do not live real close to the campus. So I'm about, I don't know, an hour, 15 minutes commute in, and during the winter quarter, that can be difficult with this weather. So online was a good fit for me. Will modules be open over weekends? And the answer to that is yes. Once the module opens, it stays open. Will this class help me figure out where I want to work or the type of organization? I don't think it'll help you figure out where, because that's a different type of content. But the type of organization, I think it will help you know what to look for in terms of what's a good organization and what is not. Just to give you an example, one organization that's often cited as a good organization is Google. And I read last year, Google receives around 100,000 job applications every month. And why is that? That's because they're doing a lot of things right. So people want to work there. And so I think this class will help you see organizations that are doing things right. Will the discussions become repetitive? I hope not. That's possible that could happen, but I hope not, because number one, the content is different. And you will be meeting with 10 people. And so that provides, I think, some diversity as well. And so I'm hoping that you can keep your discussions fresh. Will all assignments be posted to Canvas? And the answer is yes. Will we have the opportunity to interact with the whole class or just my group? Well, when we had that programming error at the beginning of the week, we suddenly were interacting with the whole class, but I have to be honest with you. It would have been something, I don't know, 500-600 posts. It would have been overwhelming. And so it's just not possible to do in a class this size. So we're going to keep the interactions down to the smaller groups. Will there be an option for extra credit? Right now, there's not a plan for extra credit. I won't rule that out. I'll see how the class is going. Right now, performance in the class is great, so I'm not too worried about it. But I won't rule it out. Just right now, there's no plan for it. How will this class prepare me for a job interview? Well, you should know now, each module from here on starts with a behavioral interview question. And you're going to use the STAR approach to answer it. And this is exactly what organizations are looking for when you interview for a job. So you're going to be well prepared to do that interview. And not only that, some of the questions you're going to answer here are the same ones being asked today by organizations. Are the quizzes related to the exam questions? And the answer is yes. They're pulling from same database. And by the way, the exam and the midterm pulls out of a database. So basically, every person who takes it sees a different set of questions, but they come from the same pool. So how available is the professor? I'd like to think that I'm very available. I've given you my phone number, my email, and the Canvas Right now, the majority of the work I'm doing is online, but I do have faculty meetings and conference calls and counseling sessions with uh, dissertation students. And so sometimes if you just randomly try to reach me, number one, leave a voicemail because I don't answer the phone if I don't recognize the number. So just leave a voicemail, I'll call you right back. If I'm tied up on a conference call, I'll call you back at the end. Or use the preferred way is in Canvas, but I answer emails too. And also notice I run office hours at least once a week, sometimes more than once a week. I ran one for week one that was 2 hours long. So if you need to get a hold of me, I want to be available. So give me a call. I'll even take a text if need. Send me a text. Uh, do the 5 discussion posts have to be to different people? And the answer is no, they do not. They do have to be on different days. Don't post them all on one day. And what is the best way to achieve an A? The best way to achieve an A is look at the best practices video at the module before you post. And follow that best practice. Then look at this best practice video that I post afterwards. If you do that, I think you're going to really do well. I'd say also uh, take the practice quizzes so that you're getting more familiar with the content. And I think if you do that, you can get an A in the course. And I think that's all the questions. So thank you for a great week one. I'm really pleased with performance. We're off to a great start. And we're into the text now, so I hope you're enjoying the fundamentals manual. Thank you.